Here's the train coming in now, very quietly. Race is held annually over the Easter long weekend. So I'll have some music here. Now, Dadswell Bridge is famous for the giant koala. It is a small tourist precinct located on the Western Highway, 12 miles southeast of Horsham, with the majestic Grampians mountain range as its backdrop. It's the perfect location to base yourself for activities in the northern Grampians. Music at Dadswell Bridge will arrive at 11:19. Should be a koala song, but I couldn't find one in my collection, so we'll just have something from the tapes. By the way, what should Australians think about when the capital of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, is mentioned? A lumpy koala, of course. A lumpy koala. Another track of music on now. Yeah. We arrive and leave Horsham at 11:47 a.m. So I'm staying on the same bus. Horsham is a regional city in the Wimmera region of Western Victoria. It is 190 miles from Melbourne. An early settler, James Monckton Darlot, named the settlement after the town of Horsham in his native England. It grew throughout the later 19th and early 20th centuries as a centre of Western Victoria's wheat and wool industry, becoming the largest in the Wimmera and Western Victoria by the early 1910s. Horsham was declared a city in 1949 and was named Australia's tidiest town in 2001 and Victoria's tidiest town again in 2021. I'll put a track of music here. We arrive at Pimpinio at 12:02 p.m. Pimpinio is a rural village in the Wimmera region on the Western Highway, 12 miles north of Horsham. The name is thought to have been derived from an Aboriginal word describing a man squatting on his heels or children. He's squatting, he's probably having an evacuation. Oh dear. A hotel and blacksmith's forge was established in the Pimpinio region in about 1870, and the Pimpinio School was opened in 1874 in a Union Church Hall. When the railway was extended from Horsham to Dimboola via Pimpinio, a hotel and a store were opened. The store was a branch of the Langlands at Horsham. So I'll put on a track of music. We arrive at Dimboola at 12:17 p.m. This is where I get off and go to the train station. The bus stops for a lunch break here before continuing on its merry way off to Neil and further. It may even be going right through to Adelaide, this one. Now, I leave Dimboola at 1:10 p.m. which is 53 minutes after arriving at Dimboola, so I'll be able to leisurely stroll to the station and arrive there by 12:50. The Overlander usually has a stay of about 10 minutes or so at Dimboola, while it has a change of some crew. Dimboola is a town in the Shire of Hindmarsh in the Wimmera region of Western Victoria, Australia, 207 miles northwest of Melbourne. So we'll put a track of music on while we're waiting for the train and walking up to the station. Now, I'm leaving Dimboola on the Overlander train. This train starts in Adelaide and goes through to Melbourne. I booked a first class ticket for $190 and I should receive lunch, afternoon tea and various drinks as part of the fare. The second class carriages now travel for $5.60 for a pensioner or $11.20 for a full fare as a result of reductions being promised by the Liberal Party in the state election that were quickly taken up in the campaign by the Labor Party, who unfortunately were returned to government. Second class passengers buy their own meals. Because of the differential in fares now, I expect my first class carriage will have few passengers but thus few in the first class dining carriage. I'll be putting on here music for Australia Day. We start with a special 54-minute collection production by the Bank of New South Wales called January 26th, an album released for the 150th birthday of the bank in 1867 after its founding in 1817. Actually, I mean to say released on the 150th birthday of the bank in 1967 after its founding in 1817. So here we are. Side 1. The Overture carries us into the majestic Captain Cook theme, setting the stage for What Do We Do? A quizzical examination of England's dilemmas of 1786. Landing with Governor Phillip's First Fleet, a Cockney Marine surveys the 1788 scene at Sydney Cove with a disenchanted eye. Look at it! He soon makes amends and a little profit with the riotous rum call. Rum for your money. The explorers take us into the green pasturelands in the west and south and onward into the trackless wastes of the desert. In the steps of the explorers come the land-hungry squatters, defying authority and law, the law. My land. And we hear the lonely song of the courageous woman of the outback, his land. Comes 1851 and the country goes mad with gold fever. We're going to the Goldfields. Prosperity leads to the wild expansion and finally to the great crash of 1893. Mind you, they'd built a country during that time. So now I'm going to put on side 1, the Overture, What Do We Do? Look at it, Rum for Your Money, My Land, His Land, We're Going to the Goldfields. I expect I'll be having lunch probably before starting this record, because I think lunch will be the first order of the travelling. So this will all start getting on probably as we approach Horsham.
This is Australia. But this is another time, the Aborigines' dream time, the time before time. And then one day, out of the sunrise ocean, a sail. A ship in search of the great Southland. His Majesty's bark Endeavour, 20 months out of Plymouth. Her crew, 90 good men. The captain,
James Cook, navigator. The country itself, so far as we know, does not produce anything to invite Europeans to fix a settlement upon it, but it could never be doubted that most sorts of grain and fruits of every kind would flourish, were they once brought here and cultivated.
That was 1770. But years passed, and Cook's New South Wales report was ignored in London. Politicians had much bigger things to worry about. War in Europe, the loss of the American colonies.
Gentlemen, pray silence for Sir Joseph Banks.
What do we do with New South Wales? What do we do with New South Wales?
Cook discovered it. I can't think where. We're not really sure if it's even there.
Well, what do we do with it?
Oh, I don't care.
What do we do with New South Wales?
Give it to the American loyalists.
What? Make it a naval base?
Certainly not. Do some trade with China there.
Don't talk rot. Oh, what do we do with New South Wales?
It's a puzzle. It's a muddle. It's a riddle. It's a joke. It's a wonder. It's a blunder. It's a pig in a coke.
All of us are biting our lips, wondering what can we do with New South Wales?
What a petty problem. Please stop making a fuss. We've got something really important to discuss. What do we do with the convicts, eh?
What do we do with the convicts, brave?
Our jails are flowing over. Goodness gracious. Oh dear. Those prison hulks on the Thames are disease may appear.
Besides, it costs so much to keep them. Each one £20 a year.
What do we do with the convicts now?
Build new penitentiaries and make us all poor. Send them off to Africa.
Oh, we can't anymore.
Dump them in America and start another war.
Oh, what do we do with the convicts now?
It's a puzzle, it's a muddle, it's a riddle, it's a joke, it's a wonder, it's a blunder, it's a pig in a poke.
Here we sit with sweat on our brow, wondering what do we do, wondering what do we do, wondering what do we do with the convicts.
Send them to New South Wales.
So it was to be a colony for convicts.
Here we go then. The first fleet. All aboard the supply ship Sirius with store ships and 6 transports. And what a consignment, mate. 1 bull, 1 cow, 4 calves, 1 stallion and 3 mares, 3 colts, 44 sheep, 4 goats, 28 pigs, a few fowls and turkeys, 759 convicts and us. A battalion of the Plymouth Division of the Royal Marines. Oh, cool.
And, of course, a complement of officers, surgeons, a clergyman, and the captain.
Captain Arthur Phillip and his 1,030 Marines, sailors and convicts landed at Sydney Cove. It was Saturday, January the 26th, 1788.
George III, to our trusty and well-beloved Captain Arthur Phillip, greeting.
Well, listeners, it's a hot, sticky day for the proclamation ceremony as Captain Phillip receives his commission.
Military affairs do by these presents constitute and appoint you to be governor of our territory called New South Wales.
trying to get a statement from the governor himself. Your Excellency.
Huh? Oh, well, yes. Here we have the finest harbour in the world, in which 1,000 sail of the line may ride in the most perfect security.
And, here's an officer. Excuse me, sir, would you care
This is a country and a place so forbidding and hateful as only to merit execration and curses.
Thank you. And, you, sir?
Oh, me? God, lummy, Gov, it's bleeding hell, ain't it? I mean, God help us. Look at it.
Yeah, look at it. God, blimey, it's no place for this here limey. Someone boo-booed back in England with the facts. Who said it's like a dream that makes you scream? Take a look at it and leave it to the blacks. Look at it, topsy-turvy. There's mosquitoes, flies and scurvy. Lots of lovely sand and scrub and friendly snakes. Instead of snow in February, we get boiling heat that's very aggravating to a bloke that gets the shakes. Look at it, weep your heart out. You'd be mad to even start out. If a convict had a choice, he'd take the rope. Half a world from home and beauty, way beyond the soldier's duty. Take a look at it and then abandon out. If you'd asked me, Captain Cook, should have took a second look instead of saying, what a lovely place to find. Rode about a paradise, land of honey, milk and spice. If you'd asked me, Captain Cook was off his mind.
Then came the second fleet, and the third. Instead of desperately needed food and supplies, London sent the very dregs of Britain's jails. Down to hard rations, the governors governed, the convicts worked out their sentences, and the soldiers worked.
Making money, mate. Working a few little dodgers, you know, a little trading in rum. Oh, nothing fancy. I mean, we leaves that to the officers and the gentlemen.
Yeah. Do you know they corners nearly every cargo what comes into Sydney town?
Well, I mean, if it's all right for them, it's all right for us. Ain't it?
Come to Sydney Cove, to the government store. See the treasure trove of the New South Wales Corps. The New South Wales Corps, lummy. Where the currency is definitely rummy. Want to buy a sheep, boy?
Want to trade your goat?
Lug your flour cheap, boy.
Or sell your overcoat?
We won't pay you in cash, don't be funny. You get rum, 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 rum for your money. Keep your promissory note and your IOU.
Keep your silly Spanish dollar. Ducats aren't worth a sou.
Just a wee bit bruised.
Do you want to hire a milkmaid who's hardly been used?
Want to barter, you gotta, me honey. You get rum, diddy-um, rum, rum, diddy-um, rum, 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 rum for your money.
Gentlemen, this is absolute chaos.
Lachlan Macquarie, one of the greatest of the early governors. Under his firm hand, a place for convicts became a place for honest men.
I intend to achieve stability in this colony. We shall begin by cleansing the currency. Would you please take whatever steps are necessary for the setting up of a bank?
The Bank of New South Wales, first bank in Australia, first public company, opened its doors April 8th, 1817. While some men grappled with the economic problems of Sydney town, other men gazed far beyond, westward to the Blue Mountains, to the unknown interior. The age of the explorers had begun. 1813, Blaxland, Lawson, and Wentworth.
We stood at last on the crest of the range and saw a vast, fertile plain stretching unbroken to the western horizon.
Hume and Hovell headed south, crossed the Murray River, reached Port Phillip. Surveyor George Evans pushed inland.
They found rivers flowing westward. Westward where?
John Oxley.
The interior of this vast country is an uninhabitable swamp. Perhaps an inland sea.
So men searched for the inland sea. Charles Sturt.
This desert is one of the gloomiest regions man ever crossed. The stillness of death reigns round us.
Ludwig Leichhardt.
I will find water. I must go onward.
Burke and Wills.
We crossed the continent from Melbourne to the north, but on the way back, everything went wrong. We were so close to help, but without water.
There was no inland sea. But in the southwest, Major Mitchell had found rich, green country, called it Australia Felix, happy Australia. And so they came. Westward, southward they came, moving across the face of the land like a wave across the sea. Their property rights, possession. No title, no license. They drove their sheep and cattle onto the land, built their huts and defied authority and the law. The squatters.
I can feel my land blowing on the west wind. I can feel my land blowing on the west wind. Blowing on the wind to meet me. My sheep can smell my grass, smell it on the west wind. I can smell my trees, smell them on the west wind. I can almost feel my soil underneath my feet, running through my outstretched hand. I can see my land out there past the west wind, out there past the wind, my land. Pull you boys from dust and mud, pull you boys from drought and flood, crack those sock whips. I can feel it getting closer, and when I've got there, I'll squat there to stay, and no one's gonna drive me away. 'Cause I can feel my land blowing on the west wind. I can feel my land blowing on the west wind. I can almost feel my soil underneath my feet, running through my outstretched hand. I can see my land out there past the west wind, out there past the wind, my
Outback is makes a floor and a carpet. Woman forgets about spinach and dancing. For now she belongs to the land, his land. Don't weep for lost things, for youth and its pleasure. Where's the bloom now? The red sun destroyed it. Suffer in silence and learn to be lonely. Live with your man and the land, his land. Out back is somewhere a woman creates a world of her own. Found a man and his dream. All that she has is her man and her children. Deep in her heart is a love for the land, his
And wherever the squatters went, commerce followed. Into the new territories came the traders. Banks opened branches, brought money to aid the new settlers.
Now there was a new feeling, a growing feeling. Confidence.
Independence. Colonists far distant from Sydney wanted local rule, and got it. The vast mother colony of New South Wales began to shrink as new colonies broke away.
Tasmania.
Victoria.
Queensland.
And the British government created 2 more colonies.
Western Australia.
South Australia. No convicts. So refreshing. And just when everything was going nicely, thank you, along came 1851.
It's gold. Gold. It's gold.
Gold!
Gold.
To the store and buy some mining boots, a Californian hat and a blanket for 2, because we're going to the Goldfields building to find a nugget that's bigger than you. Lock the house up now and throw away your job, then sell the pigs and geese and all the cattle of horse, because we're going to the Goldfields pressing to find a nugget as big as our horse.
Look here, Pat, they say at Ballarat, it's literally growing on trees.
Look here, Joe, they say at Bendigo, it's growing in the ground, right up to your knees.
I hear telegraphist, our surgeon, Mr. Black, found a nugget like a melon and threw it right back.
Go down to the store and buy some mining boots, a Californian hat and a blanket for 2, because we're going to the Goldfields building to find a nugget that's bigger than you.
Hey, yes, we're going to the Goldfields, Cedric.
Yeah, we're going to the Goldfields, Eva.
Who shall we go on to the Goldfields, Bridget?
You bet we're going to the Goldfields, Sheriff.
Hey, yes, we're going to the Goldfields, Cedric.
Yeah, we're going to the Goldfields, Eva.
Who shall we go on to the Goldfields, Bridget?
You bet we're going to the Goldfields, Sheriff.
Goodness me, what a hullabaloo!
Well, I've just come back from the Goldfields, everyone, and I didn't find a brass razoo.
Some found nothing. Some found a fortune. Gold turned the country upside down. In 10 years, the population trebled. Swarming goldfields spawned lusty boom towns. That was just the start of it. Then the new rich built magnificent mansions. The devout built stately churches. The workers built trade unions. There was a new force in the land. Mateship.
And something bigger. Responsible government. In 1856, good Queen Victoria gave us our first elected assembly under Governor Denison.
Gold in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia. Everything was on the up and up.
Now we can send a cable all the way to London.
Sail right through the new Suez Canal.
Send our meat and fruit right across the world in refrigerated ships.
Quick, get sheep, cattle, land.
Land? But where?
Where? Anywhere. Just get it.
Invest, expend, expand.
Invest, invest, expand, expand, invest, invest, expand, expand, invest, invest, expand, expand, invest, invest, expand, expand, invest.
Well, that's one way to learn the economic facts of life.
Huge fortunes were wiped out. Tycoons suicided.
Everyone suffered. The innocent lost their life savings.
Of all the banks in Australia, only 9 survived, including the first bank, the Bank of New South Wales.
Trade unions struggled for better conditions, but the Depression got worse.
The big crash of 1893, a great disaster for all Australians.
For all what?
Australians.
Australians are aborigines, old boy.
Well, where are you all from?